In this episode of Meditation for Peace, I will talk about merit. Merit, or in Pali language, in the old Indian language, punya, refers to an energy that is within us, that we can use for a proper purpose in life. This I will illustrate a little bit. To talk about and understand the importance of merit, we need to start with learning about what we call noble treasure. These days, our lives have considerably changed from 50 or 100 years ago through the advances of technology, through science, and through a lot of changes in modern society. When science and technology became more involved more in the 19th and especially in the 19th century, some scientists, some intellectuals predicted that in the future we would not have to work anymore. The technology that was advanced and science would help us we would not have to work anymore. All of us would have money enough to just be able to focus more on spiritual matters. So it was predicted that in the future people would only work for maybe 10 hours a day or 8 hours a day, and that would be, 10 hours a week or 8 hours a week, and that would be enough. They would not have to work much because all of the technology and science that was evolving would help them. So you can imagine that someone would have, for example, everything would be made in a factory, so people didn't have to work very hard. Everything would be done by robots or something like that. But after now many years have passed and we have gotten used to technology and science permeating every part of our life, we have actually discovered that instead of working less than our ancestors did, some of us are actually working, or a lot of us are working a lot harder than our ancestors. Although we might have the comfort of modern science, living in a home with air conditioning, being able to eat the food that we like, fast food, being able to use a comfortable microwave, easy and convenient. We have found ourselves working harder, working faster, and working more stressfully than our ancestors did. So this is something that we can observe from human history. So the prediction that was made that we would work less and less has not been fulfilled. So there is a question then: what are we actually aiming for in life? These days, and especially in the past, but even to today, a lot of people talk about progress. What is progress in society? Some people define progress as developing technology, developing science. If everyone has a computer at home, then we will have more and more progress. Everyone has internet, then society will progress. But from another perspective, that is the perspective of the Dhamma of Buddhism, all of this is still quite irrelevant to humans' progress. To human beings' progress, all of this is quite irrelevant. Because all of this is to do with just the development in material matters. Development, what we might call mundane wealth. Wealth that comes in the form of comfort, of a monthly income, of a good salary, all these kind of things. And then there is another kind of wealth. And for that, we can study about some important teachings that the Buddha taught. The Buddha said people do good deeds for several reasons. And he gave the example of someone who is giving. Someone who is giving something to another person might do so for several reasons. For example, he might give in order to, for example, in order to repay someone. Or he might give out of fear, or he might give out of compassion. And he said, he concluded that actually the most noble reason to do good, the most noble motivation to do good is to give as a adornment for the mind. He used this word. He used the word adornment for the mind. With that he meant that whenever we do something good, something happens within us. Superficially, when we give to someone, when we help someone, or when we do anything good for another person, it might seem as though it is the other person that gains benefits and we might not gain so much. But the Buddha, he said the real true motivation, the most pure motivation of someone who is doing a good deed is the motivation to do good as an adornment for the mind. And that I will talk about today. What is the adornment of the mind that we call noble treasure? That adornment of the mind that we call noble treasure is called merit. Merit, or punya in Pali language, is an energy that is within us. It is an energy that is within us comparable to an energy like electricity, to a resource like electricity, or to some sort of fuel. But it's different in that it has no dangers to it. If we use electricity in the wrong way, we might get hurt. You know, in Thailand, sometimes we might discover that, you know, some electrical appliances are not so safe, or any other country. If we use electricity in the wrong way, then we might be hurt. If you have a kid, you'll know that. If you have children, you'll know that you want to protect them. You do not want them to stick their fingers in some sort of electrical plug. They might get hurt. So electricity is useful, but it also has its dangers to it. Similarly with fuel, for example, gas. If we use gas in the right way, we can use it to drive a car. But if you use it in the wrong way, if you we are uncareful, we use it in a reckless manner, then we might actually get hurt. Merit, on the other hand, is an energy that occurs in the mind that is not at all dangerous. It has no dangers to it. It is in that sense a pure energy. Pure in that it has no dangers to it, and no disadvantages to it as well. But it's similar to electricity in that we cannot see it. Whenever we do a good deed in our lives, whether it's through our actions, our words, our thoughts, because even our thoughts can be good deeds if we have good intentions, good thoughts, then a positive energy arises within us, in the mind, not anywhere else, but in the mind. And this positive energy is what we call merit. And this positive energy actually is capable of attracting positive things in our lives. So this is a very important observation. So what the Buddha was actually saying is that when we do good, we might do so in order to provide benefit to another person. We might do so in order to somehow help another person or out of compassion for another person, and all of that is good. But finally, all of these things, are just temporary benefits. But the more long-standing benefit that good deeds can do is the energy that good deeds bring about within. Does that mean that all the good things that we do, we should do that for ourselves? Because when we say, when we talk like this, when we conclude like this, it's like we do good for ourselves. When we do good in order to develop, to gain this positive energy within. Actually, it's not. But to understand how merit has both positive effects for ourselves and for others. In the long run, we have to study more about merit and what it can do. There are different aspects of merit. One important sutta that explains that has a statement that merit brings happiness and fulfillment in many ways. And it says that streams of merit are streams of the wholesome. Streams of merit are nutriments of happiness. Streams of merit are heavenly, ripen in happiness, are conducive to heaven, and lead to whatever is wished for. Lead to whatever is wished for. That is loved and agreeable to one's welfare and happiness. That sounds good, huh? Therefore, merit is a very important aspect, very important thing to know about. It is the very core of our success and happiness. It lies at the very core of our success and happiness. If we know about merit, we will understand how to find success and happiness in our lives. It is said that streams of merit are the streams of the wholesome. With that is meant that whenever we do a good deed, we have a good intention for that. Not like doing a good deed just to be famous or just to get a good reputation, but like when we do a good deed that is really beneficial for ourselves and others, we have a good intention. Then our mind at that time is motivated by pure intentions. And it's like we feed everything that is good within us, and that grows stronger. And everything that is negative within us, that is destructive, like greed, hatred, and delusion within, it grows less stronger. This is the meaning of wholesome and unwholesome. So merit is, the streams of merit are the streams of the wholesome. They're also called the nutriments of happiness, because whenever we do something good and merit arises in the mind, it purifies the mind, and we gain happiness. Some people, they don't really know what merit is actually like. They just know it makes them happy. So that is another aspect. Then there's the streams of merit are heavenly. Are heavenly, and they ripen in happiness. The streams of merit are conducive to heaven. And the streams of merit lead to whatever is wished for, that is loved and agreeable to one's welfare and happiness. These last two meanings are quite important, that part on heaven and that part on what is wished for. So I'll talk more about that. So But before I continue, I'd like to tell you a small story to conclude about what I just said. It is about a man called Sumana who lived in the time of the Buddha 2,500 years ago in ancient India. His name was Sumana and he was a gardener. His duty was to provide or to prepare flowers for the king. And the king at that time was a king called King Bimpisara. And when he was doing like this, he had to prepare several sets, about 7 or 8 sets of flowers every day. So he would prepare these flowers for the king, and every day the king would send people to get these flowers to collect them and to decorate the castle with it. But one day the Buddha was entering the city, and Sumana saw the Buddha and he felt very inspired. And as he was holding these flowers, these bunches of flowers in his hand, he thought, and this is a very important thought, you can observe how someone with great wisdom thinks. He thought to himself, this is a great man, this Buddha. He has an example of someone with great knowledge and conduct. He thought to himself, to honor someone like him is a very important thing. Is an adornment for the mind, as we just mentioned. Is what we might call the noble treasure of the mind. Is a good quality of character. Leads to good character, leads to the pure mind. So he then thought, why don't I just use these flowers to honor the Buddha? It might be that the king will punish me for not giving flowers to him. But that he didn't care about. He thought to himself, even if I get any reward or any punishment from any king, it will not give me the same benefits as providing a gift for the Buddha. So he just thought about that benefit in the long run. Instead of looking at the superficial things, he looked very deeply inside and thought to himself, what is the reason that people act? What is the real benefit that we can gain from our actions? And then he thought to himself that, well, these flowers can lead me either to just a temporary benefit of providing a benefit to a king, and I get my salary. But they can also lead me to great benefits of developing through generosity and connecting with the great character of the Buddha, connecting with his qualities of mind by providing a gift to him. So he gave the flowers to the Buddha. And his wife heard about that later on. He was very happy, very cheerful. He was so joyful that he almost, it is even said that he could float, so joyful was he. He could float into the air, very happy and joyful because of the deed that he had done. And the connection that he made with the Buddha and able to provide a benefit to the Buddha. This is something that was on his mind. But his wife didn't understand. He said, what have you done now? She was afraid that the king might be angry. So then she hurried and went to the king herself, and she said, I have nothing to do with this man anymore. Don't know what got into him. Just to save her own face, to save herself. But the king, he understood. He asked Sumana, he asked him, why have you done this? Why did you give the flowers to the Buddha instead of giving them to me? And he said, he explained the reason, that he wanted to gain something that is lasting for his life. And as we will study later on, it is also something that can provide benefit for the next life. So he thought about his actions in the long run. And then the Buddha, he would like to provide this benefit to the Buddha. And then the king very much agreed with the wisdom of this Sumana, that whenever we do something in our lives, we should also look at what it really provides benefit to our mind and character in terms of what we call noble treasure, or the merit that occurs within whenever we do something good. So he even gave great rewards to Sumana, the gardener, for his wisdom. So instead of being punished, Sumana gained great rewards that the king gave to him, like wealth and treasure that was given to him. From this example, we can see that someone who is studying and learning and practicing deeds of merit and studying about merit, he will think in a different way from how most people think.